Hello there, my name is Kayla Staley and I am your child's Algebra 1 teacher for this year. I wanted to be able to explain this syllabus to you. Of course it goes home with you and you're going to get a lot of those tonight, but there's a lot of papers that you brought home tonight and I think mine's pretty important, of course, so I don't want it to get lost in the shuffle. I want to make sure that you understand that and that I was able to personally explain everything to you. So you can have that out and kind of follow along with me, and I'm going to walk through it with you and explain it to you just like I explained to your child today in class. First, about me, I grew up in Marshall County. I graduated from the high school in 2002, went to Murray State, graduated in December of 2006, and I'm certified to teach 5th or 9th grade math and social studies. Got my master's degree in 2010. And I've been at North Marshall this whole time, very blessed for that. This is an awesome school and I've enjoyed every minute of it. For my personal life, I am married to my husband Caleb. We've been married for 9 years. I have 3 beautiful boys. I have Owen, who is 5 years old, just starting kindergarten, and I have twins, Evan and Aiden, who are going to be turning 3 at the end of this month. For contacting me, I am a firm believer that for the key to your child's success, that there needs to be a strong partnership between me as their teacher, between you as their parent, and them as the student. If all 3 of us are working together, then that is going to help your child reach their best potential. So how do you get in contact with me? First, email. This is going to be probably get your quickest response because I check that several times a day and I should be able to get back to you within a few hours. You can call the school. There's the phone number there, and I will be able to talk from noon to 12:45. That is my planning period. And then after 2:55, I will be able to take your call. If you happen to call not during one of those times, Miss Greta will take your name, your number, and then I will gladly give you a call back. I do use an app called Remind to send text reminders. You do not have to have a smartphone for this. As long as your phone can receive text messages, then you would be a great candidate to sign up for this. I highly recommend that you do. To enroll in these reminders, you're going to text this code for your class to this number, and so your student will sign up for this in class, and you can as well. This is the phone number, 478-997-8959, and then the message will be the code. Instead of saying, hey, I'm on my way, or hey, what's up, then you'll be texting if you're in second period at second Staley. If you're in fourth period, at fourth Staley. Make sure that you include that at symbol. I will be using this reminder if I noticed on the homework that number 14 was kind of crazy, and I'm like, whoa, hey, just skip number 14. I'll send stuff like that, or don't forget you have a test coming up in 3 days on Friday, so you need to be preparing for that type thing. My classroom expectations. Went over these with your child. I want to make sure that you understand, also what's expected of your child. The expectations here are more like what my rules are. I want your child to come to class prepared. They will actually have an algebra textbook. I know that's different from 6th and 7th grade. They didn't have a textbook. We have a class set of Algebra 1 books, and that's enough for these kids. And so every kid has one to take home. That's where their homework will be from. Page 241, numbers 8 through 40 even, or so. That'll be their homework. And so they'll be working their homework out on notebook, paper, out of the book. So they need to bring their book every day to class. They need a pencil, they need paper, they need their math folder. I like for them to have, it doesn't have to be a special binder or anything. They need to have a slot in their Trapper Keeper or something to keep their math stuff separate from their reading, from their science, from their social studies stuff. Make sure they have their homework every day for class. I ask that they be on time. I think that being on time is a good life skill, and it's going to help them for success later in life. So on time for class, for turning in assignments, etc. I ask that they respect others, and one of the biggest way that I see this, taking place in class is that they're not talking while others are talking. They stop to listen when the teacher is talking, and that they keep things positive. You're going to have, things that you're going to disagree over, but you can disagree and still keep things positive. And finally, I ask that we laugh. I tell my kids, we're going to make this fun. There's going to be things that you're not going to enjoy. Most of them would not choose to solve a multi-step equation on a Saturday afternoon just for giggles. That usually doesn't happen, but what we do is we take something that is not enjoyable, we make it fun. I tell them that I hate to wash dishes. But if I don't, we're going to never have any forks to eat with or glasses to drink out of, so it has to be done. So what I do at home is I turn on some music, and you might find me dancing around in my kitchen while I'm washing dishes. I'm just trying to make it fun. So when I try to teach them, when you're doing things that you necessarily wouldn't want to do, make it fun, and it's not quite so painful. For turning in papers with their first and last name on there, where this comes in for you as a parent is, let's say you're looking on Parent Portal and you see an assignment marked as missing, and you're thinking, wait, my kid was there that day. I helped them with that homework. What happened? It very well could be that they didn't put their name on it. I posted up there, and as I'm going through, that paper is just not in my stack, so I don't know the difference between the no-name paper and the one that somebody didn't turn in. So I just put it in as missing, and that might be your, cue as a parent. Say, hey, Johnny, why don't you check in Whoville? Such and such is marked as missing. Maybe it's there, and then they'll turn it in. I want them to bring their supplies every day to class, and then I sell pencils and cap erasers at my desk before school starts if you happen to get in a pinch and can't make it to Walmart to get your child some more pencils or something. For makeup work, I tell the students it's their responsibility to find out what they missed. If there happened to be some sort of handout, it will be in the absent work bin, and I've shown them where that is. Work will be due the next day. If 2 days were missed, you have 2 days to make it up, and so forth. Now, where this kind of gets, kids get a little confused. If the work was due that day, if it was a previous assignment, you knew in advance it was due, you must have the work on the day that you return. So, example, you were here on Monday. Everything's great. And then on Tuesday, you woke up, you weren't feeling well. But I had assigned homework on Monday, so that homework should have been turned in on Tuesday when you weren't there. Therefore, when you come back on Wednesday, you have to have it then. Now, if there was something assigned on Tuesday, I understand you're not going to have that on Wednesday because you didn't even know it was assigned. So that you have another day for, but what was assigned on Monday, what should have been turned in the day that you were gone, needs to be turned in when you return. Homework quizzes, they're going to be happening a couple of times a week, maybe 3 times a week. If they are not made up in the days allowed, they'll be put in the grade book as a 0 until they're made up. And those quizzes, they need to be made up either before school, like 7:45 is plenty of time to do that because these are short quizzes. During AA, as time allows, sometimes there's things that we have to do during AA, but other days it's more laid back. And as long as their AA teacher is okay with it, they can come to my room and make up that quiz. Or after school, by appointment, just make sure that I'm able to stay that day. And all makeup work needs to be turned in at the back table, and I've shown them that makeup work bin. Next thing is Essential 8. North Marshall has adopted the Essential 20 rules, and number 8 says this: you must complete your homework every day. Late work will be accepted. I'll take that, but there's going to be 20 points deducted for each day late, just like if I'm late on paying my electric bill. West Kentucky Rural Electric still lets me pay it and still keeps my lights turned on, but I have to pay that late fee. So we're preparing them for real life. Missed assignments are immediately added to the Diners Club list, which is like a lunch detention list. If you're not familiar with that, then ask your child or I'll be glad to explain Diners Club to you. They will have 5 points lost on the pyramid for a missed assignment, and then the work needs to be turned into the makeup work bin before first period, and I'll be glad to take them off that list. However, once that work is turned in, those pyramid points are returned. We know that kids are going to make mistakes, and they're not going to be perfect, and we're not expecting perfection. So we give them a few freebies where, hey, you can redeem yourself out of this. And so you go to Diners Club, you get it done, you turn it in, you're good to go, you get the points back like it never happened at all. However, sometimes kids struggle with this, that they're, it's a repeated thing that they're forgetting their homework. And so every third missed assignment, whether that be the homework or the video notes, that will result in 5 pyramid points lost under unprepared for class. And these points will not be returned. And when it gets to this point, this is where I'm contacting you as their parent and trying to figure out a plan to prevent this from happening again. And about video notes, I do not send a child to Diners Club when they do not have their video notes. I know things happen. They make that up in class. They go to Diners Club when they don't have the actual homework, which in most cases is completed in class if you're familiar with flipped classroom, which we'll go over some more. As far as hall passes, you will be given 6 hall passes at the beginning of the year, and they'll be used at your child's discretion, whether that's going to the bathroom, they left something in their locker, or in another room. I know they're going to need to leave sometimes, but that just doesn't need to be a habit. So they get 6 passes to leave. They'll have to keep up with those for the rest of the year. Some kids, actually a lot of kids, never use any of them. You would be surprised. I will give them out periodically as rewards for good grades on tests or maybe things like that, but I'm not they're not going to get a new set at Christmas or not every 6 weeks. Those 6 passes they need to keep up with for the year. If there's some sort of medical problem, let me know and I'll be glad to work with you on that. As far as Algebra 1 credit goes, this class, it's a high school class. It's just taught in the middle school. We use the same book, the same pacing guide, the same final exam as the high school. High school credit will be granted with an end of course exam taken at the end of April, and if that meets the passing benchmark, then they'll get to skip Algebra 1 as a freshman because they've gotten the credit for it as an 8th grader, and then they'll start into Algebra 2 as a sophomore. I'm sorry, geometry as a freshman, and then we'll go forth. On their transcript, it doesn't have their letter grade. So this class is, probably the hardest classes your child's ever taken. It very likely may be that first B they've ever gotten. But here's what I like to tell them. That B doesn't follow you for the rest of your life like a B does in, pre-cal in high school. It does not go on your transcript. Their transcript will say pass, and that's it. So this does not affect keys money and things like that. I would much rather your child struggle in Algebra 1 as an 8th grader, make that B, and learn from it. Therefore, they can have that 4.0 GPA in high school rather than not push them as a middle schooler, and then they're smacked in the face come high school and don't know how to study for a math test, and they've never had a class that hard. I would rather challenge them now while there's some safety nets in place and where there's some redemption rather than when there isn't in high school. So if they do pass, they're given the high school credit, they'll take geometry as a freshman. That puts them on track to take Algebra 2 as a sophomore, pre-calculus as a junior, and then AP Calc as a senior, which is where they can start earning that college credit. The flipped classroom, many of you were with me last year and you're familiar with this. The Algebra 1 class will be set up this way. Parents from last year, you gave me feedback and overwhelmingly wanted to continue flipped classroom for Algebra 1. So you're probably familiar with this, most of you. If not, it's basically a swap of what the traditional classroom is. In the traditional classroom, students listen to a lecture in class and the practice problems are sent home. Last year, my Algebra 1 class was a traditional class, and we would lecture most of the class period, teaching the lesson, and they would maybe have 5 minutes at the end of the class to start working on the practice problems, and then they would spend depending on the student, 30 minutes to an hour working on those practice problems because it took so long to teach it in class. So what we do is we swap that where they watch the lecture at home as homework. They take notes on it. It's a 5 to 10 minute lecture. It may take you longer to watch the video, maybe 15 minutes, because you're pausing and writing down, taking the notes. And I'm not expecting your child to understand the content by just watching a video. I know that's not going to happen. But what is going to happen is they've taken those notes and now they're ready to practice it in class. So there's much more application in time. We're able to work through more problems together in class, and then they work on what used to be the homework, the book work. They work on that in class. So they're doing more video watching and less book work at home. As a parent, I know many of you, you took Algebra 1, but it was a long time ago. And, it's not fresh on your mind. And so as a parent, you're no longer having to be the Algebra 1 tutor and, helping to reteach this information. You are ensuring that they watch a video, which opens up that class time for me to be that tutor for them. If you do not have internet at home, I can load those videos onto a jump drive for you. I know many of you have a computer, you just don't have internet, or from month to month you may not have that internet. We can load it on a jump drive for you to watch that on. I can also make a DVD for you. I believe that a lot of game systems have a USB drive, and you might be able to watch it on that jump drive that way as well. So just let me know. You'll have to provide the jump drive, but I can definitely make DVD copies as well for you. So the grades, you can kind of see how those are weighted. That's very similar to what you had in 7th grade. And we talk about the quizzes, the homework quizzes and homework. Homework grades can be checked about every day, and so these will be based on participation, not accuracy. The kids will check their own homework. They'll have an opportunity to ask questions. Hey, I didn't understand number 12. Can you work that out for me? And once we've answered all those questions, then about every other day we're going to have a homework quiz. And so typically that's going to be 2 lessons at a time. So it's not a quiz every single day. It might be like every other day. And that way, when you look on Parent Portal and you're looking under that homework quizzes category, you can see that on the lesson about simplifying polynomials that your child got a 1 out of 5. Well, that tells you, hey, we probably need to go back and look at that when you're studying for that chapter. Or, we did awesome on, adding exponents or something. And that's something that we can, kind of lay back on. We don't have to focus on so much. I hope that all this kind of cleared things up for you. If you have any more questions, please call me. Please come up to school, ask me a question. Like I said, I am a firm believer that if we have this strong partnership together, that's going to be the key to your kid's success. I look forward to meeting you in the future and getting to know your child better throughout the year.